We will start game number 1 and make sure that they are all moving and ready to go. They are indeed. Let's finally begin our last match of North America in week number 2. That's going to be high off the crossbar as Absolute Leverage is going to be the first team on the attack. And Wonder Mike scores against his fan Karma.
So Wonder Mike, all three up here, a little bit dangerous. Those two coming out. Wonder Mike with a little bit of patience as he saw the other two ahead of him. Gets up, gets a nice shot around the defender, puts it into that corner. Up 1-0 in the first 10 seconds. They're going to need to maintain this scoring pace. This is going to be one where you've got to outshoot the other team. Turinturo, he almost has a shot as he puts it off the side, and Shadow's there to clean it up. Turinturo to Shadow, 1-1.
Okay, playtime's over. That was a nice opening goal for Absolute Leverage. Charlotte Phoenix answers right back, and we'll see if they can kind of assert their dominance early on in this game, or will it in fact be a back and forth affair as the first 18 seconds have proven to be. That's going to go right to Karma, and probably should have been a little more trouble than it was. This will find Turinturo, great pass, and there you mentioned all the assists that the Phoenix racked up in week 1.
I love the passes that we see out of Charlotte Phoenix. We don't see it too often out of the other teams here in the RLRS. They're making passes at their one. Their number 2 is then passing at their number 1, who's making the rotation back to the 3 spot, and they're getting shot opportunities there. Kinsey, though, and Wonder Mike, they're going to connect together, and they're going to get the second goal here. A lot of high-flying shots, both sides of the field here, and we're up 2-1 the side of ALEV.
You can see the defender sitting in the net. As soon as Wonder Mike got that last touch that he got, just completely threw the defense for a loop. Could not recover. Cheeky play has ALEV back on top. Turinturo will lose control as Wonder Mike is in the way of that shot. Now Rodoko. Oh, Shadow gets by him once, and Wonder Mike is there to swat it away. Back comes Absolute Leverage. Crossfield pass, rather dangerous pass. Didn't get as much power behind it as you would have liked, but it got to the target. And now Turinturo looking to beat everybody by himself. No, follow-up is not going to have a lot behind it. And that's going to be saved by Rodoko, but not cleared out of the zone as Turinturo's there. Now Shadow bringing it right back in, but that left a lot to be desired. And it looks like Leverage should be able to get out of the zone, and they do.
That's 3 in a row there for Karma. That kind of weak touch that we thought was a pass. It may have just been kind of a bad touch, then a weak shot, then another weak touch there. Just slightly off the mark is Karma right now. I do expect her to clean that up and start getting some power behind these shots.
Karma will push this out to midfield. Nobody there in a blue card to play it forward, so comes right back, and now Turinturo. Decent challenge to keep it from going too far downfield, but there's Kinsey.
The quickness from Shadow there to split the defenders and get a ball back downfield. Dangerous turn, but knew that he was going to get there first.
Well, that's a loose ball in front, and a blast from Karma, stopped by Wonder Mike. Absolute Leverage keeps their 1-goal lead. They get a demo on Karma on the other side, but nothing doing from there. So we finally crossed the halfway point of game 1. And now a high hop, threatening to go over Karma. Cheeky pass trying to go behind her, and now it's going to be Rodoko who extends the lead.
ALEV is finding each other. They are getting some really nice passes. Couple shots here. Rodoko going to be able to kind of solo play this one off of a touch from the defense. ALEV looking pretty clean here so far. Definitely looks like they've cleaned up some of the issues that they had last week in the match versus Stromboli.
Starting off the second half of game 1 just the way they started the first half. Another goal. Now they lead by even more. It's going to be Wonder Mike challenging Shadow. Shadow's done well to get around him. We dip inside 2 minutes. Still an eternity. Ooh, especially with demos like that as they took Kinsey out of the play. Good save by Wonder Mike. Another clear by Rodoko, and well, they will not use tandem defense to get out of the zone. Instead, he'll be brought right back in. Turo's going to collect at midfield. Again, it's going to take a lot more defending to hold on to this lead, but they shut down the double attempt there by Karma. So now Turinturo will trying to hit Karma. He does, but her shot Not a lot of power, and Rodoko clears it away.
Yeah, it's been a couple touches like that where ball's just out of Karma's reach. She's not able to get any power into the ball.
A loose ball here as a couple players went for blocks. Neither made contact, and it leads to a shot sent away by one to Mike. And again, absolute leverage. Defying all logic, defying the odds, they have a 3-1 lead in game one that is held to the final minute. And what they're doing right now to the Charlotte Phoenix, I think, even drives home the point of how impressive Stromboli is, that they were able to manhandle this team a week ago.
One of the things that they're doing really well is they kind of have a two-man attack, and they're getting these quick second touches and opening up opportunities that way, and the third man is staying back, so they're kind of swapping in two at a time. They're making quick attacks. They're not trying to keep a ton of offensive pressure over and over again. They're trying to find the opportunities that they can create for themselves and capitalize on those moments rather than just trying to pound the ball over and over again at the enemy net.
The two leading scorers from the rival series a season ago held to just one goal as that save is cleared away. And that is going to do it for game one, unless ALEV decide they want to score another one. They will not get the opportunity to. Absolute leverage takes game one, and they never seem to let the Charlotte Phoenix get off the ground.
No, they had a man back every time. The couple opportunities that Charlotte Phoenix did have, we had some kind of soft touches on the ball, no real power behind them. They weren't really applying real pressure like we've seen out of them onto ALEV. ALEV was just kind of able to make some nice soft touches, soft clears, take the ball up the wall, and then make a quick attack run, and if they didn't get it, they were back to defense. They weren't staying in and overstaying their welcome. They got in, handled business, and got out.
This absolute leverage team, it feels like one of those teams that comes along every so often where they play up to the level of whoever they're playing. And maybe they play down to the level of teams that they're expecting to see as well. You know, the Stromboli team that they saw in week one.
Yeah, I was going to say, that would explain week one. If they tried to play down to Stromboli and they didn't take it serious, that may explain the issue that we had there, because they look like a different team right now.
And not consciously, mind you. It's just sometimes there are players that when they see, hey, we're up against Karma, Shadow, and Turo, and everybody thinks that these guys are, you know, God's gift to Rocket League, then all of a sudden, you know, the energy is up just a little bit more, and they brought it in game number one. They take that 3-1, and they are on their way here to evening out their record.
And one to Mike, living up to the hype that Karma's given. Maybe Karma's a little starstruck out there. Maybe it's, man, that's one to Mike on the field. You see him? He's on the other side of the pitch from us.
Now we have the paparazzi following him if he keeps playing the way he did in game number one. A goal and 2 assists, and it all adds up to a 3-1 victory for absolute leverage. What do they have for an encore? Let's find out on Urban Central, as that's going to angle out towards the far side, brought right back in. Absolute leverage. They are swarming early yet again, but this will give Charlotte Phoenix just a little breathing room as the ball goes all the way down to the back line. Karma taking her time and just had the ball picked away from her. And it just feels like maybe the Charlotte Phoenix playing it a little too nonchalant. That ball is going to be cleared away, only as far as Rodoko, and he does at least make Shadow go by, but that does mean Shadow is lurking downfield for the moment. He will turn and head back, and this ball will be cleared in his general direction.
Shadow going to get down for that one. Looks like he was going to try and get a pass out to turn Turo. Another one of those kind of quick, cheeky passes. Almost gets a shot in there is Karma. And that one gets knocked away, and another quick pass. Not really making anything out of them, but starting to get those going. That's what we saw out of Charlotte Phoenix last week. Those quick passes, those quick pinches, and they need to get something going on the offensive side here. Get one of those goals in, and it'll definitely bring the morale up and get that speed going.
Oh, what a save made by Kinsey on a great shot from Karma that against a lot of other teams probably ends up in the net. Not this time, and now a booming clear off the backboard has absolute leverage trying to stretch down the field yet again, and they do. Wanda Mike beats the defense.
What is going on right now on the side of Charlotte Phoenix? This is not the team that we saw. Wanda Mike. Also, what's going on the other side? Wanda Mike. Kinsey, where was all this last week? You're going to need to do this every week if you're going to be here in the Rivals series.
I mean, the way Absolute Leverage is moving around the field on both halves, it looks like difficult terrain that the Phoenix are trying to drive through. They're just moving oh so much slower than anybody else. Turinturo will try. He's blocked by Rodoko. And this will be sent out of harm's way as well. Now, the Charlotte Phoenix, not for lack of effort, but they have not been able to solve the defense of ALEV. And time is not moving any slower for them. That's going to be a golden opportunity that nobody's there for. Finally, Shadow does get there in time and does tie up the game.
Those types of goals aren't going to present themselves very often. You're not going to be able to depend on those. Charlotte Phoenix still has some things to figure out. It also took a lot of time for them to realize what had happened there, and Shadow had to turn to get to that ball. Nobody else was there to commit on it, which feels a little slow. I feel like somebody else should have been there.
It is clear that because of whatever Absolute Leverage is doing, the Charlotte Phoenix are not playing their best Rocket League at this point. And that's going to be the challenge for a lot of teams over the course of this long season. Win the games where you're not playing at your best. You've got to survive and advance on to next week as that goes just wide. Right now, they are in full-on survival mode. Turinturo sends one downfield. It's going to be brought right back. They got a demo on Shadow, so Karma has to challenge. Shadow does respawn, and fortunately for the Phoenix, that shot nowhere near the mark. Now one to Mike. Oh, that's a great challenge by Kinsey. Now one to Mike, drop one down. Shadow did not expect this to be on target, and it was, and it's 2-1.
How many goals is that now for one to Mike?
That would be number 3.
Number 3, so second one of this game, had one in the first round. One to Mike is definitely here and showing up. I haven't seen him out of boost yet either.
Yeah, that's the biggest difference between last week and this week. All of a sudden, it's amazing what happens when you have at least 40 or 50 boost every time the ball comes near you.
Yeah, when you have a player that can play at that level and get the praise that one to Mike has, you can't do much without boost, and it seems like this week he's definitely kept that in mind. You see, he just cut out again there, made sure he went to get to the corner. 2 players on defense already. He's taking those opportunities and making sure he's got something in the tank for when he needs it.
Downfield from Turo. Can't do anything with it. Can Karma, so it'll be Kinsey bringing this all the way back. And now Shadow battling with one to Mike. Now he's got a battle with Rodoko. He's got Karma in support. That goes off of Rodoko and on target, so Kinsey has to clear it away. That's a whiff from Karma. She did not leave that for Shadow, but it works out anyways. It slowed down the defense, and Shadow taps it home.
Shadow able to bring that one up and over, gets the read. Don't think that ever saw Karma coming for that, which just left him right on target. Read that ball, nice, easy, quick one up and off the backboard and down.
Shadow has all 3 goals for the Charlotte Phoenix. Meanwhile, it's a well-rounded offensive effort with one to Mike leading the charge with 3 of his own for Absolute Leverage.
Looking to see more of those connections that we saw in week 1. The Turinturo to Karma, Karma to Turinturo. We were calling them out time and time again, the pinches together. Not seeing that same synergy here, and I don't know if it's that pass is just getting picked off, if those lanes are getting shut down. Opportunity there, though. Shadow gonna get another one. Finally here, in the last 40 seconds of match number 2, they are going to be in the lead, 3-2.
Is it just me, or have most of the Phoenix goals just not looked impressive?
They definitely don't.
I mean, not to say it's all luck, but they do look very fluky.
There's situations where that goal's just getting left open, or somebody awkward touch that created a misread from the defense. Sometimes from the offense where Karma missed one, but Shadow was able to clean it up. None of these have been just clean, decisive statement goals.
Well, it doesn't.
I take that back. Shadow had one that was up off the backboard on a double touch, but
it doesn't always have to be off a great pass into a flip reset double touch banger. It just has to go in the net, and it has 3 times for Shadow and the Charlotte Phoenix here in this game, but it hasn't been enough as one to Mike will tie the game with 3 to go.
One to Mike refusing to let this match go down and go 1-1. They want a 3 get 3 matches in and get out. You do not want to let Charlotte Phoenix have enough time to get it sorted out and get things firing, because if they get everything pulled together, there's a good chance that a team like Charlotte Phoenix could reverse sweep you.
We have seen a couple so far, but we will not see a game end in regulation in game 2. We will go to golden goal. It'll either be absolute leverage 5 minutes away from stunning the Phoenix, or Charlotte Phoenix getting back into this series and reminding ALEV just who they are. It's an opportunity for absolute leverage here as Turo rotates to the net. He may be called upon as this will be brought around the corner. Turo does send it out. Does miss there, but I think the turn by Kinsa actually threw him off. And now it's an opportunity cut out by Rodoko. Needed a second touch, did not get there, but Wonder Mike there on the back wall.
I love the amount of effort out of Shadow there. Won the challenge, put into the corner, quick reaction to immediately get back on the ball and try and open up that play. Then gets another touch, gets a boost steal and a bump. Really just an all-out stellar play there. Unfortunately, nothing to come of it.
A ball that pinballs around 3 different cars and will head downfield again. So the Charlotte Phoenix will try yet again to score. And a ball that is left there, and Karma cannot force it home. Now Shadow. He's stopped by Rodoko. Kinsey dunked by Karma. This is in the net, and the Charlotte Phoenix steal game 2.
Steal is exactly what happened. There was a lot of ugly goals in there from Charlotte Phoenix, and it ends up being enough to get it done. Pulls it off in the end, but I don't think that's a decisive win. They still have some things to work on going into game number 3. If they can't clean them up, I don't expect those types of opportunities to continue to present themselves from ALEV.
Well, when we get to the end of the season, at the end of March, and we look back at all the tiebreakers and the game differentials, all it's going to look like is win number 4 for the Charlotte Phoenix on the season, as they tie up the series now with absolute leverage. And they had to scratch and claw for it. They had to dig deep into the bag of tricks. And in the end, it was finally somebody other than Shadow getting on the board.
Yeah, one of the things I'm noticing that I saw a ton of and I talked about last week is that there was always somebody on each side of the pitch. There was somebody on the left wall, somebody on the right wall, somebody down the center. That third man was usually back. The other 2 were riding the walls. The rotation this week from the Phoenix really is leaning either left or right, whichever way the ball's going, and you've got 2 guys sitting mid. They're not getting control over that ball on the left and right side, and they're leaving room for that ball to clear out and get around them. That might be one of the things that's leading to the situation that they're in. They're not getting as much spread on the field to control the ball. They were dominating the midfield last week.
Yeah, and if absolute leverage can kind of spread the defense of the Phoenix and kind of work laterally and get onto the weak side to get a blistering pass, maybe a ground pinch along, then all of a sudden, yeah, Charlotte Phoenix, they're going to be in a lot of trouble here. They did have some really good saves, though, right along the goal line. They had to work to keep absolute leverage within reach, and they do at least take game 2. Now we go to game 3. Somebody is going to be 1 win away from taking this series. Going to be bombed away as absolute leverage tried to get on the board early yet again. But Karma is going to find Shadow. Turo is down there waiting for a mistake. None is made just yet. And there's a good clear coming straight down on the ball. Kinsey paid the price for it, but it has been just enough to give absolute leverage a chance to work their way downfield now. Kinsey coming on and does not get a touch, and there's a few times that's happened to him where he hasn't been able to get a piece of the ball coming off the side.
Wonder Mike with boost is a completely different player. He has been so quick to get up to the ball this series so far. He's been there up, getting to the ball before the defense does. Even when he's coming from the further point, he's playing so quick and so accurately. A lot of the times you see these guys start speeding up from where they're normally playing at, and the accuracy goes down. It doesn't seem to be affecting Wonder Mike, though, as he's just been after everything.
Rodoko and Kinsey both up for this. So too was a Charlotte defender.
Wonder Mike there again, coming from his end of the field.
It almost feels like absolute leverage. They just want this one a little bit more, and I think it's that chip on their shoulder, because they've probably heard it all throughout the seasons, you know, this is all about monkey business and Charlotte Phoenix and this team and that team. And they're not in that discussion just yet.
And getting 3-0'd in week one also puts you, that's definitely going to put a chip on your shoulder, because the conversation is going to go that direction. Did they kind of limp in and they just had a good match in the play-ins, or did they earn it? Do they deserve to be here? And they're absolutely proving that they deserve to be here right now.
Yeah, there's a big difference between this absolute leverage team and so many teams that did make the rival series or even failed to make the rival series. When everybody's talking about teams that aren't them, they kind of start getting a little whiny, like, oh, why aren't you talking about us? Well, because you're not very good. Absolute Leverage is trying to prove that they do belong in that conversation, and they have a lead to show for it in Game 3.
Just feed Wonder Mike all the boost, and he'll come and make all the plays. Rodoko with a great challenge there against Turinturo. That's going to pinch, pop out into the middle, and Wonder Mike on that ball immediately puts it into the net.
Right before the halfway mark of Game 3, and the gauntlet has been thrown down to the Phoenix. Can they answer yet again? Game 2 had plenty of twists and turns. This is falling, and it will be cleared by Kinsey, as nobody from the Phoenix could follow that play up for the last time. Now Shadow. Does he have it? He sure does, but he's pushed that wide, and that's going to be popped high over the goal. Turinturo and Rodoko both trying to block one another, and then Turinturo, Johnny on the spot, ties the game.
Tough shot. These are one of those just really difficult ones. Get to the back flip there to get the touch with the back end of the car, knocks it in. Almost thought it was going to come up and off and be off goal, but he's just able to inch that one in there.
Will be rolled up the wall as both teams lock back in a deadlock yet again. It'll be Karma for Turinturo. Shadow not over there, so it'll be taken back in by ALEV. It is Wonder Mike, who has been a handful for the Charlotte Phoenix to deal with in this series. He's now got 5 goals, a pair of assists to show for his efforts as well. Wonder Mike looking to add yet another, got the reset in the dunk. That's gonna set up Kinsey, and it's back to a lead for ALEV.
Another play here coming out of Wonder Mike to really set this one up. Kinsey at that just kind of golden distance behind, able to see everything unfold in front of him. Gets up, gets a nice easy shot into the goal, but Wonder Mike is just an absolute monster this week.
He has had his fingerprints all over everything that Absolute Leverage has done in this series. Kinsey, good slow play there to avoid the demo, but possession given up to Charlotte Phoenix. Here's Karma, looking to get one more, no. Now it's Shadow instead, trying to bang it home, no. Turinturo does, and we're back to square one.
You take enough shots, the ball will eventually go in. Karma gonna put one high, Shadow with that touch, not able to pinch it in, but Turinturo, third man coming in hot. Great placement on that right side to get around the defender.
Right back where we started just a few minutes ago. Now tied up at 2 goals, and that's going to be cleared out of the way of Shadow, but he is waiting for Karma's pass. Now Shadow trying to dunk one in, no, and he will not get this to Turinturo. That caused him to hesitate a bit, and the corner boost is not there for Shadow. Unlucky, but he does get that touch to bring this around the boards. And even with nothing doing there for the Charlotte Phoenix, no resources to speak of, they managed to get downfield. Now to be Shadow, that's going to be off the mark and cleared away further by Wonder Mike.
Karma out to Shadow. They're starting to get these passing plays going. They're not able to send them home the way they were last week, but I like that they're finally getting into a rhythm. They are looking for the passes. They're trying to break down that defense. Turinturo gonna have to get here though. Gets the demo. That's one way to stop Wonder Mike. Just take him off the pitch.
Well, he can only do that so much. They do bump him away from the play this time. Karma got a piece, and now it'll be Turinturo skying that one away. ALEV was swarming, but this should bring us to overtime. It does, as the Phoenix just couldn't keep the ball in the air. So we'll have overtime again in this series after the incredible drama that was game number 2. Now what do they have left in the tank? Turanturo's got all the boost in the world, but he can't score, all because of Kinsey.
They're maintaining possession a lot more. The offense is starting to click finally here on the Charlotte Phoenix, which is something to worry about for absolute leverage. If they get this going, they're going to become a monster to deal with.
Well, this is cleared downfield. Shadow and it looks like Karma kind of traded a little bit of paint. And this will roll into an empty net. It's Wonder Mike again. Anything he touches turns to gold. Nobody at the back, and absolute leverage is up 2-1.
You said that Karma had a lot of praise for him. Karma's having to deal with him here, and they haven't figured him out yet. They're going to need to get something going here because he is an absolute beast out there. He's getting involved all over the place. Kinsey also that game, coming up with 4 saves.
Yeah, again, just every time you get a matchup like this where there is one team that feels like the clear favorite, that they have all the talent in the world. Hey, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And right now, hard work is up 2-1 over talent right now.
Hard work is putting in a ton, and Wonder Mike is looking for the hardest work he can possibly do. He is just throwing everything on his back. He is involved in almost every play, and if he's not, he's right there and he's ready to be the backup if the play doesn't go the way that they want it to. He's been the quickest to the ball. He's had boost every game, keeping himself in. The only times that he's getting taken out of these is when they're getting demos or bumps and removing him. That might be something they need to focus up on. They need to try and get Wonder Mike off the field or at least tilt him. You might want to try and play the mind game, get a couple extra bumps or demos on him.
All right, so let's talk to Coach Jimmer just a little bit here. What do you tell the Charlotte Phoenix going into this last game? Obviously, take out Wonder Mike. What else?
Take out Wonder Mike. You need to start getting back to the point where you're controlling the width of the field. They're playing much more where they're controlling the dead center and back towards their net and one side or the other. They looked way better last week when they were playing to control the width of the field. Bring that third man back down the center a little bit, get 2 guys wide when you're going in on offense, and then maintain that offensive pressure that they had last week.
You know, if I know Jimmer even half as well as I think I do, I'm pretty sure his message would be, all right, let's get your heads out of your, well, you know, we can't go any further than that. That's just the kind of guy he is with the Charlotte Phoenix. I think he tells them what they need to hear sometimes, and more often than not, it works out. They are down 2-1. And they have their work cut out for them as that's going to be saved off the goal line by Rodoko. This will go wide, but it's set up for Turanturo. Now everybody all on the left side, something we just talked about, Supersonic, with everybody on one half of the field, nobody there if the ball happens to skip across. That time it didn't, and now it's back on their end. It'll be Karma just trying to buy her teammates a little bit of time. And it's worked out at least for now. Shadow got the demo, looking to set one up for Karma. Trying to keep possession now. Turanturo lurking as that's going to be saved. Follow-up was stopped as well. And that is just about going to do it for this attack.
The defense is just holding so strong out of absolute leverage right now. Able to save the flip reset, able to save the dunk off that, and still the third man there to get the clear. All 3 players getting involved defensively to get that ball out of there while still maintaining presence in the net. They never once left that open or double committed.
All the great mechanical play in the world doesn't matter if you can't stop Wonder Mike, and he's done it yet again from above.
All the mechanical skill in the world will get things done if you're Wonder Mike.
7th goal of the series for Wonder Mike. Talk about wanting to be a household name by the end of this season. Might be one by the end of this weekend.
Kinsey had an opportunity there to take a free ball. Wasn't able to get a touch on it.
Off the backboard, Kinsey coming on. That's going to stay in the zone, but Karma's there and a full tank of boost. She's got Turinturo downfield and a good challenge at midfield. Shadow now, his shot. That left a lot to be desired. It was right at the defense. And one to Michael clear, start him downfield. There's Kinsey yet again. He avoided the bump. Can he get this back to the middle? Didn't use the reset, and back downfield it goes. It looked good, just didn't have the finish.
Another booming shot from Karma up towards the backboard. They are going to keep possession here, but it feels like these balls are just kind of getting thrown out of their half. They're not getting those quick transitional passes. They're not really controlling the ball out to the corners, and when they are, almost every time, they're just going for the same carry off the sidewall. You're giving absolute leverage the same look every time. If they see the same shot coming and they've blocked it 12 to 13 times before, there's a new look. Karma gonna touch one off the sidewall with a nutty angle here. Can't even get mad at the defense for not defending it. That is just an insane angle out of Karma.
That one touch, that first touch from Karma, beat two defenders. They jumped and they realized, oh, we forgot to take the ball with us. My goodness, what a goal from Karma. And all of a sudden, Charlotte Phoenix have tied up this game, and they're looking for more, looking to take the lead in Game 4, a game that they have to win to remain undefeated on their, at least even have a chance at remaining undefeated on the season. One to Mike, that's gonna bounce off the corner, and Shadow's right there. Good job collecting that ball in the corner. Rodoko trying to force his way through Turinturo. And now Kinsey, he's gonna leave that. No, but here comes the Grim Reaper himself, and Karma makes the save.
Karma at the last second gets there. They had to have broken, I mean, every set of axles on all three of them, but Karma was the first one to get broken, actually made it back for the third or fourth shot there.
Kinsey stops this from clearing the zone. Rodoko couldn't get there in time, and now it will be Shadow trying to streak down the side. Karma backs off, lets Turinturo take over. So we get to the final minute. Drop down, nobody home, but this will find Shadow, so indirectly a decent pass. This will go across, and Karma is there, opts to go for the boost instead. And so it will be Kinsey to try his luck on the other side. And now we're seeing the Charlotte Phoenix controlling both sides, left, right, and even the middle of the field. And now they're putting the pressure on absolute leverage. They have turned up the heat. Can ALEV break this and either force OT or maybe take this in regulation? One to Mike trying to break Charlotte's heart yet again. Karma now, it'll be Rodoko. Angle down, no. Cleared away by Shadow. Karma's all the way downfield. Does not get the challenge she was looking for. As we go to the final countdown in the initial 5 of Game 4. One to Mike. Had all the time in the world, but got taken out. Now Karma, can she keep it in the air? She can, and no, it's still not on target. And that will do it for regulation in Game 4.
That was a really close one there. Dangerous situation for absolute leverage. Two things that happened there right before they set that up, though. They had the bump on one to Mike before to keep the ball down there, demoed him the second time around, and when you take one to Mike off the field, really scary situations tend to happen for absolute leverage. I'd like to see a bit more of them getting involved and aggressive with one to Mike.
One to Mike currently streaking back in case he's needed on the defensive end. Kinsey is there as well, but it's one to Mike who will send that off to the side. Now Mike. Oh, he's feeling it. But this time it's going to be Karma in the way. Kinsey is going to get the midfield boost. All important midfield canister there. This will go all the way across. Turinturo and Shadow are there. Karma shading over as well. And it will be cleared all the way down. Karma taken out of the play. Another brief respite perhaps, unless they get another dunk goal, just the way they ended Game 2.
This is not the way you want to win games, but sometimes it's just the way it goes and you have to get it done. Charlotte Phoenix taking down Game 4, gonna send this one into Game 5, but it is just ugly wins. They're just not pretty, man.
It does not matter how ugly the win is when you get to the end of the season. Yes, a win is a win is a win. And the Charlotte Phoenix have again, they've held ALEV at bay, and they have kept this series going into a 5th and final game.
I'm so excited just to look at the statistics at the end of this ball possession time. Like, I'm going to rewatch this series over and over again this week because I don't know how Charlotte Phoenix is staying alive. Wonder Mike has been out of this world for the other side. They're only able to get one goal in that match. They held Wonder Mike to one goal. Maybe that's the key. When they're bumping and demoing him, they're opening up opportunities for themselves. Doesn't look pretty, doesn't look good, but it at least creates the opportunity. Wonder Mike seems to set the pace for absolute leverage this week. If you take him off the field or knock him out of rotation, it seems like the other two kind of fall out of that rotation as well until he's back on the field.
The final two matches here in North America this weekend, they felt like kind of an exhibition for the other teams to watch on just how to actually control the pace of play, how to control the field, because so far what we're seeing from absolute leverage is exactly what you've got to do against a team that is as fast, that is as talented as the Charlotte Phoenix. You got to make them uncomfortable, and they have. Granted, it also helps that Wonder Mike is playing the series of his life right now. Again, we mentioned it, 7 goals, and he continues to try and apply the pressure, as does Rodoko, but that's going to go downfield right at Wonder Mike. He has the ball taken from him, and Rodoko will bop it away. Champions Field, the setting, as it is for every decider in the RLCS and the Rival Series. Kinsey trying to shine bright under the spotlight. Now it'll be Rodoko. He's challenged, and it will be Kinsey to bring it right back in. Charlotte Phoenix trying to weather the storm, and they may not. Wonder Mike trying to drop one down to Kinsey, and again possession still remains for ALEV up until now as Shadow finally breaks the pressure. Wonder Mike now playing that over his own backboard. All the way down, Kinsey is going to give chase, but only token pressure, but it was enough to make Shadow feel a little uncomfortable. He couldn't keep possession, but now it'll be Karma. Didn't have a full tank when she started, didn't need it. Still gonna try and drop this down, but it is Rodoko in the way.
Another midfield challenge there from Shadow. Really one of those things that he shines at. Unfortunately, that one is gonna get bopped back down into their side, but Turinturo gonna clear one up, broken up by none other than Wonder Mike once again. So quick to get up and get in the way of these plays.
Wonder Mike has that bounce off the corner, turns into a shot, so Shadow will take the easy save, but now a shot on, and nobody is home, and Kinsey gives ALEV the lead.
They look like Charlotte Phoenix from last week. The passes, the number of plays, how quick they are to get up to challenge the ball, everything is hitting for.
Absolute leverage has brought everything, and they have thrown it at the Charlotte Phoenix. Charlotte Phoenix have answered back in kind for the most part, but they now find themselves trailing ALEV by 1 goal with 3 minutes left in a must-win Game 5. It is Karma up top, looking across. Nobody there except for the defense of Wonder Mike and absolute leverage. This will get over Karma, but not past Turinturo. That ball, however, will. It does bounce by Karma. Shadow is there, lands on the backboard, and jumps out very quickly. No wasted movement, no wasted time at all for Shadow. And there, he's got a challenge again against Kinsey. Boy, Charlotte Phoenix are not looking good right now. They are missing a lot of balls in their own defensive end. They're getting away with it, but only for now.
They're not going to get away with it for very long, though. They'll eventually start getting punished, and you're absolutely right. They seem to be breaking down defensively. They're starting to rush. They're starting to try and force things that don't need to be forced. And when you start doing that, you create a lot of opportunities for the other team to punish you.
That looked like a great half-flip pass out of Shadow, but Turinturo was coming up just a little too strong and could not adjust in time. Might have tied the game. One missed opportunity among many. There's Karma, couldn't get it down on target. This is, but falling from the heavens is Rodoko to keep ALEV in front. Now Karma has Turinturo coming to help, but there is Rodoko again. Give him a savior medal as he keeps ALEV in front. Karma up high yet again. Kinsey is there. So it will be Turinturo. He's lined it up, and all that for naught as Kinsey knocks him out of the way. Now Karma trying to get up quickly for this. Minute 17 and counting. This will bounce off the ceiling. Could be trouble, but Shadow's got it. Turinturo challenged in the corner. Karma racing back, facing her own goal. Had to dish that off to the corner and did. Now Shadow. He thought about it, and that little hesitation has given Wonder Mike all the time he needed. Good pass over in front. Still an opportunity that Karma deals with, and now Shadow very quickly challenges Kinsey.
They're starting to get a little bit of offensive life here going. Quick follow-ups, Turinturo to Shadow there again. Shadow with the back pass. Karma unfortunately facing the wrong direction. They just can't get a ball on target from anywhere that's a real threat. These shots that they've had so far this match have all come from the midfield, which is giving a ton of time to ALEV to get in the way of it.
Well, Turinturo's made a mess of this, but he did get a piece of Rodoko as he beat him to the corner boost. That'll slow Rodoko down trying to get back, but Charlotte Phoenix should not move downfield as quickly as we're used to seeing. Kinsey got a piece of Shadow, and Wonder Mike makes it 2-0.
Wonder Mike putting the nail in the coffin here, most likely. Gets the reset, takes it down to the ground, doesn't use the reset, just lets it bounce, gets it right past the defender and into that upper right 90.
A couple of overtime winners by the Charlotte Phoenix kept them in this series, and it looked for a moment like maybe the Phoenix would indeed rise from the ashes, but Wonder Mike took his size 13 boot and stomped out the ashes. Absolute leverage takes down the Phoenix.
I don't like the look on F.Dot's face right now.
Oh, he
Don't
is grinning
like
ear to ear.
smirk.
Like the old Cheshire cat, ready to tell us all how we made a big mistake. How could we doubt the new guy? F.Dot, you were correct. We salute you.
You know, the Hives, remember the Hives? They were a one-hit wonder around the early 2000s. They had a song called
You are
I Hate
dating
to
yourself.
Say, I Told You So. Absolute leverage comes through and takes it right away. And I say that intentionally. They took it away from Charlotte Phoenix. Charlotte Phoenix comes through and they put on a good show. Some of those wins were ugly, but win's a win? Question mark on that.
Oh, absolutely. A win is a win. Charlotte Phoenix would have been over the moon had they survived this series and taken that. They would have taken that win and they would have got the heck out of Dodge real quick. But instead, now they have to look back and go, man, okay, Wonder Mike literally just decimated us. And I don't know. If Wonder Mike plays like that,
scary.
Nobody's going to have an answer for play like that. Mike came to play in this series, and boy, did he ever.
Yeah, all those games that wound up in the win column here for ALEV were basically brought to you by Wonder Mike. If you've been following Karma, like you said, she's been speaking highly of Wonder Mike, and his talents were certainly on display.
Yeah, he was so quick to the ball. We talked about him doing offensive plays where he was getting passes, he was getting shots, he had his hand involved in all of those plays for the most part. His ability in the midfield to get there and beat players to the ball time and time again. There was times where the ball was he jumped from basically his goal line to the other goal line to beat them flying the whole way there, and he was beating them to the ball. Just too much hesitation coming out of the side of Charlotte Phoenix. It let Wonder Mike had no stop. He had no hesitation in anything. If he saw the ball, it was his.
Yeah, there have been a lot of players. There are a dime a dozen that you hear when they finally get into the rival series, okay, this is going to be his time. We're going to see how good this player is. And we had heard that about Wonder Mike, and I was like, okay, well, we saw week one. I'm like, okay, yeah, real special there, Wonder Mike. Boy, am I wrong. I am glad to see this out of Wonder Mike because it's what everybody knew that we were going to see after so long. Now we're finally seeing it if he keeps this up. Boy, ALEV, yeah, okay, they drop 0-3 to, I guess, the best team in the league, Stromboli, and now it's smooth sailing from there.
Well, I mean, either way, we wind up with a victory for ALEV. Let's see where that lands them with the rest of the North American teams here. Up on top will be Stromboli and Omni Nation. Stacks himself said Stromboli could be the #1 team. They are right now on the bottom You've got Jacob 72 pin connector and Monkey Business trying to find a win there. And our last matchup, well, both of them are 1-1. Charlotte Phoenix and ALEV right in the middle there, 5 and 6 respectively. So an interesting look for sure.
Yeah, and on the B stream tomorrow over on twitch.tv/Rival Esports, you're going to have Monkey Business or rather on the 23rd, my mistake, but you're going to have Monkey Business and 72 pin connector. That is a battle for survival, to say the least, for either of these teams, because if either of those teams drop to 0-3, you might be sticking a fork in them at that point, because only the top 3 even get a chance at the RLCS.
So here's my thing. When we come into week number 1, placements and how your games go are largely, who showed up that day. I don't want to say a dice roll, but kind of a dice roll, right? Week number 2, week number 3, this is where we really start to understand the teams, who they are, whether that was a fluke or whether or not they're going to flake. So when we watch this, we see Stromboli up on top. I think after week 1, I think that makes sense. Is there anything that doesn't make sense that you're expecting to change here, Stacks?
It doesn't make sense to me that Monkey Business is 0-2, and I understand that they did go against, apparently, 2 of the best teams in the league. We knew Charlotte Phoenix was going to be a challenge for them. We didn't know Stromboli was going to be a challenge for them, and boy, were they ever. So I think that for Monkey Business, obviously a must-win coming up this weekend as it rolls on against 72 PC. I have to assume that they will right the ship.
Sure.
Because they've got, again, a lot of veteran presence. These guys are not newbies to this kind of situation. But it's got to happen sooner rather than later because the clock's ticking.
And Supersonic, 4 matches today. Fantastic look at the North American squads. What was your highlight moment of today's broadcast?
The last series that we just watched. Wanda Mike was an all-star through that entire series. It was a big upset series. It was one of those I guess, for everybody except for you. We were all leaning the way that Charlotte Phoenix should have had a heyday. But Wanda Mike said no. He showed up and he denied everything that was coming at them. That was the highlight for me. Absolute Leverage was absolutely my highlight of the day.
Yeah, we are all basking in the glory of Wanda Mike here tonight. That was as good a strong carry performance as I've seen since, I can't even think of anybody I've seen do that. Like Rix Ronde earlier in Europe, I guess, but I don't know, because I don't think he did it against the same level of competition that Wanda Mike did here tonight.
I think we are seeing the beginning of a beautiful career. I think Wanda Mike starts here on the Rival Series, and very soon will find himself up along the big ticker with the big boys. But that does it for our North American broadcast, and that does it for us on this Saturday. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been fantastic. Tomorrow, the Rocket League Championship Series will be here. Energy versus Space Station. You don't want to miss it. 12 o'clock noon, 11:30 Pacific for the early show. I'm Tom Battinger. That's Supersonic. That's Stacks. And for everyone behind the scenes, thank you. And we'll catch you next week.